In just 52 seconds, $4.7 million in missing FBI funds. Kash Patel didn't expect the ambush. He thought cameras were recording routine testimony. Senator Whitehouse walked in with classified documents that would end careers. What did Whitehouse reveal that made America's most controversial FBI director collapse live on television? At exactly 2:47 p.m., the Hart Senate building buzzed with whispers. Patel sat like a man who had built an empire on secrets, his FBI badge gleaming under fluorescent lights. Stacks of redacted files surrounded him. His legal team shuffled papers nervously. They had no idea what was coming. Whitehouse entered the chamber like a prosecutor who had found the smoking gun. His silver hair caught the light as he adjusted his glasses. In his hand, a single manila folder marked classified. The room temperature seemed to drop 5 degrees. Even seasoned reporters stopped typing. "Director Patel," Whitehouse began, his Rhode Island accent cutting through silence. 4 simple questions. "That's all I need." Patel's jaw tightened. His knuckles went white, gripping the witness table. "Senator, I'm prepared to answer any." "Question 1," Whitehouse interrupted, opening the folder. "On March 15th, did you authorize the transfer of $4.7 million from the FBI's counterterrorism budget to a private consulting firm?" The chamber froze. Cameras zoomed in on Patel's face as color drained from his cheeks. His mouth opened, then closed. 12 seconds of pure silence. "I would need to review." Question 2. Whitehouse slammed a document on the table. "Is Genesis Security Solutions owned by your former law partner, Michael Vance?" Gasps rippled through the gallery. Patel's aide leaned forward, whispering frantically in his ear. His hands started trembling. "Senator, that's a complex." Question 3. Whitehouse's voice rose. "Did Genesis Solutions perform any actual work for the FBI? Or was this payment a favor to your friend?" Patel's face flushed red. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the air conditioning. "I resent the implication." Question 4. Whitehouse held up a photograph. "Is this you having dinner with Vance at the Capitol Grill on March 10th, 5 days before the money transfer?" The photo was crystal clear. Patel and Vance, laughing over wine, hands exchanging what looked like documents. The timestamp read March. Patel's world collapsed in real time. His mouth moved but no words came. His legal advisor grabbed his arm. The committee chairman banged his gavel as chaos erupted. The context of that meeting," Patel stammered, his voice cracking. 52 seconds had passed since Whitehouse's first question. Then it happened. CNN cut to breaking news. Exclusive: 3 former FBI directors jointly call for Patel's immediate resignation. The leak had been planned perfectly. Comey, Mueller, and Wray's faces filled screens across America. Twitter exploded. Patel exposed, trending within minutes. Fox News anchors looked stunned. MSNBC legal analyst called it devastating. The timing was surgical precision, but the damage wasn't finished. At 3:15 p.m., Whitehouse revealed the smoking gun. Bank records showing Genesis Solutions was a shell company. No employees, no office, just a P.O. box and Vance's signature. The $4.7 million had vanished into offshore accounts. "Director Patel," Whitehouse said quietly, "you turned the FBI into your personal ATM." Patel stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against marble floors. "This hearing is a witch hunt." His voice broke mid-sentence. His aide pulled him back down. The committee room erupted. Photographers' flashes lit up the scene like a lightning storm. Security guards stepped forward. Patel buried his face in his hands. By 4 p.m., the White House issued a statement. "The president has full confidence, but Washington insiders knew political speak." Translation: Patel was finished. The evening news led with devastating footage. Patel's collapse, Whitehouse's methodical destruction, the bank gurgs, the shell company, the dinner photo. America watched their FBI director crumble in high definition. But the real fireworks started at 6:47 p.m. when Senator Chuck Grassley released additional documents on Twitter. FBI internal memos showing Patel had blocked investigations into 3 Republican senators. The thread went viral instantly, breaking thud. How Kash Patel turned the FBI into Trump's personal protection service. CNN's Anderson Cooper opened his show with exclusive audio recordings. Patel's voice, clear as crystal, "Kill the McConnell investigation. The boss wants it buried." The recordings came from a whistleblower inside FBI headquarters. Someone had been documenting everything. At 7:23 p.m., former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe went live on MSNBC. His face was grim. "In 30 years of law enforcement, I've never seen such blatant corruption. Patel didn't just steal money. He sold our democracy piece by piece." The McCabe interview changed everything. He revealed Patel had created a secret unit called Political Compliance Division. Their job: monitoring Democratic politicians and their families. Illegal surveillance, warrantless wiretaps, files on judges who ruled against Trump. Phone calls started pouring into congressional offices. Outraged citizens demanding answers. Republican senators who had been defending Patel suddenly went silent. Their staff stopped returning calls from reporters. At 8:45 p.m., The Washington Post published a bombshell exclusive. The Patel Papers: How FBI Director Built Network of Political Spies. Internal documents showed a web of corruption spanning 2 years. Loyalty tests for FBI agents, blackmail files on political opponents, plans to arrest Democratic governors before the 2020. Fox News found themselves in an impossible position. Their evening hosts had been Patel's biggest defenders. Tucker Carlson's previous shows praising Patel aged like milk in the desert. Clips flooded social media showing the stark contrast. Aged like milk became the second trending hashtag. By 9 p.m., 3 more senators called for Patel's immediate resignation. Republican senators. The dam was breaking. Senator Ted Cruz, who had nominated Patel, issued a statement. "If these allegations prove true, this is exactly what we fought against." But the night's biggest shock came at 9:34 p.m. FBI Agents Association President Brian O'Hare held an emergency press conference. Behind him stood 47 FBI agents from across the country. All had resigned in protest. "We cannot serve under Director Patel," O'Hare declared, his voice shaking with emotion. "He has dishonored our badge. He has weaponized our oath. Tonight, we choose country over career." The visual was devastating. Badge after badge placed on the podium. Men and women who had spent careers fighting terrorism, organized crime, and corruption, all walking away because they couldn't stomach what their agency had become. Social media erupted again. FBI resigns. Patriots resign. Choose Chowdhury. The hashtags spread like wildfire across every platform. TikTok videos from young agents explaining why they quit their dream jobs. LinkedIn posts from veterans describing their heartbreak. Late-night comedians had field day material for months. Patel thought he was untouchable, Colbert joked. Turns out, Whitehouse had the receipts. Stephen Colbert's monologue went deeper than usual. "This isn't just about one corrupt official. This is about what happens when we stop asking hard questions." Saturday Night Live's Cold Open that weekend featured Kate McKinnon as Whitehouse, methodically destroying a Patel character played by Mikey Day. The sketch went viral, garnering 47 million views. But underneath the comedy, America was grappling with a sobering reality. But this wasn't comedy, this was justice. The investigation that followed revealed deeper corruption, classified documents sold, FBI raids delayed to help political allies, a network of loyalists placed in key positions. Patel hadn't just stolen money, he had weaponized America's premier law enforcement agency. The Senate Judiciary Committee launched a full investigation. Senator Dick Durbin, the ranking Democrat, assembled a bipartisan team of prosecutors. Former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara agreed to serve as special counsel. His first press conference sent shockwaves through Washington. The evidence suggests a systematic effort to corrupt federal law enforcement. Bharara announced from the Department of Justice, "We're talking about potential RICO charges. This wasn't just fraud. This was a criminal enterprise operating inside the FBI." New revelations emerge daily, secret signal chats between Patel and political operatives, encrypted messages planning fake investigations into Hunter Biden, voicemails proving Patel had promised to deliver certain outcomes to Trump allies. The most damaging evidence came from Patel's own assistant, Sarah Chen. A 15-year FBI veteran, Chen had secretly recorded meetings for months. Her lawyer released a statement, "My client couldn't stand by and watch criminals destroy the institution she loved." Chen's recordings were devastating. Patel bragging about intimidating federal judges, discussing plans to arrest Democratic mayors in swing states, laughing about scared liberals calling their lawyers. His voice dripped with arrogance and contempt for the law. Meanwhile, Whitehouse became an unlikely hero. His calm, methodical approach during the hearing earned praise from unstacked sources. Conservative legal scholars admitted his questioning was textbook prosecutorial technique. Liberal activists hailed him as a guardian of democracy. The Rhode Island senator found himself fielding calls from major publishers. Movie producers wanted to option his life story. Harvard Law School invited him to give the commencement address. But Whitehouse remained focused on the investigation. "This isn't about me," he told reporters outside the Capitol. "This is about protecting our institutions from those who would corrupt them for personal gain." Behind the scenes, Whitehouse's staff worked around the clock. His chief of staff, Maria Rodriguez, coordinated with whistleblowers across federal agencies. Tips poured in from FBI field offices, CIA analysts, and Pentagon officials. Everyone had a Patel story. Everyone had evidence of corruption. 3 weeks later, Patel announced his resignation to spend more time with family. Translation: to spend more time with lawyers. But his statement showed no remorse, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Instead, he blamed partisan witch hunts and deep state resistance. The resignation letter was pure Patel. Defiant, victim-playing, full of conspiracy theories. "The swamp creatures have won," he wrote, "but patriots know the truth." QAnon supporters immediately turned the letter into memes. "Patel is a patriot" trended briefly before being overwhelmed by justice served. The Senate hearing room where it all unfolded now displays a simple plaque. "Truth revealed here, March 20. Tourists stop to take photos. School groups learn about accountability." Whitehouse's 4 questions became legend in legal circles. Law professors use the footage to teach interrogation technique. "Notice the precision," they tell students. "No wasted words, no theatrics, just facts, delivered like surgical strikes." 6 months later, federal prosecutors announced charges: wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. Patel's mugshot roasts his official FBI portrait on government websites. The federal courthouse in D.C. became a circus on indictment day. Protesters filled the streets. FBI veterans held signs reading, "Restore our honor." QAnon supporters countered with free cash banners. The contrast couldn't have been starker. Inside the courthouse, Patel appeared in handcuffs for the first time. Gone was the arrogant FBI director, who had terrorized his own agents. This was a broken man, facing 47 federal charges and potential life imprisonment. His lawyer's plea for bail was denied. Flight risk, Judge Amy Jackson declared firmly. The trial dominated headlines for months. Star witnesses included former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe and whistleblower Sarah Chen. But the most devastating testimony came from Agent Marcus Williams, a 20-year Bureau veteran who had been demoted for refusing Patel's illegal orders. He told me to falsify surveillance reports on Senator Warren. Williams testified, his voice cracking. When I refused, he threatened my pension, said I was either with him or against America. That's not the FBI I swore to serve. CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin called it the most damning law enforcement corruption case since Watergate. The jury deliberated for just 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Patel showed no emotion as the verdict was read, but his wife collapsed in the gallery. The man who promised to reform the FBI had nearly destroyed it instead. His downfall became a masterclass in how hubris meets justice, when someone asks the right questions at the right moment. Today, when reporters interview Whitehouse about that famous hearing, he just smiles. Sometimes the truth speaks for itself, he says. You just need to know which questions to ask. The moral is simple, but powerful. In America, no one is above accountability. Not even those who enforce it. When power corrupts absolutely, sometimes all it takes is one senator, 4 questions, and 52 seconds of truth to bring it all crashing down. What would you do if you had evidence this explosive? The next time you see corruption hiding in plain sight, remember Senator Whitehouse's example. Sometimes the most devastating weapon isn't a subpoena or an FBI raid. It's simply asking the right questions when the cameras are rolling.